Okay. All right. All right. Okay, everyone. Um, Welcome back to another live stream. I know I've been doing a lot of live streams lately, covering. I know there's been a lot of UFC cards. There was just one on Wednesday. I'm excited to cover this card because obvious reasons, guys. We all know who's fighting on Saturday, the main event, and the co-main event. I'm also excited about. So I will. Just one thing. If you guys want to tell me, let me know if you guys can hear me well. Um, if you guys aren't hearing me very well, you need to let me know. Okay. So you guys can still hear me perfectly. If just give me a thumbs up or like the video. Say something in the comments, whatever you like to say, and we'll get this started. Normally, I like to give everyone a little bit of time to head in, but I do. I'm a little pressed with time. I got to work at 4, so I do want to cover this card. And I'm going to start off with the early prelims. Now, I did on Wednesday, just let you guys know, on Wednesday, I did a card with MMA Island. So I did kind of take my time with him because he took the time to come in and to join in on my live stream. So, respect for that. But for here, I'm only doing this by myself. So I'm only going to take as much time and we'll get this started, guys. So, with the early prelims here, and again, anything can change from now and Saturday. Well, technically Sunday in Abu Dhabi. So, okay. Apologize, guys. When I'm bringing up all these matchups, it sometimes is really, really freaking slow. And today it's extremely slow. I don't know why. It's kind of driving me fucking crazy. Okay, so I'm just going to look from the bottom until it actually comes up. So I do apologize if I can't bring up the stats with each fight. I'll just do the names and then we'll go from there. So you got Amir Alabazi and Zagaya Zibagulov. Again, I've been cursed with names that I can't pronounce. So yeah, with this fight, I don't actually know either guys. I know it sounds like a bit of a shock, like I don't know fighters. As much as I'm a huge UFC fan, and 75% of my podcast content is MMA. But with these two guys, I think it's a featherweight, and yeah, I mean, I've always been told whoever's got. Or sorry, excuse me, this is at flyweight, and I don't know with these two fights. I'm just gonna. I mean, Amir Al-Abazi, he's number 15th ranked. So, if I just wanted to kind of shoot this one out of the park here, I would probably go with Amir just because he's the ranked guy. But I mean, you got this guy. You got the Zalagas, and he's definitely going to want to crack that top 15 rankings. So it'll definitely be interesting there. Obviously, when you try to get in the top 15, you're really gonna push the fight. You're really gonna want to work hard to get into the top 15, where it's a little bit more of a pressure to not let someone get in and take your spot. So that can always be a bit of a factor as well. But I think maybe I have seen Amir fight, so I think I'm going to go with Amir Al-Abazi in this fight. So you got a catch weight bout, and this one is Nick Lentz versus Movazar Ivolov. Now with this one will be interesting. I think Nick Lentz, I think he's got this one in the bag. I've watched him fight a little bit more. I think definitely he's definitely gonna win this fight. I don't know how though. I think this could be a decision. I think that Nick Lentz will be interesting. I think Nick Lentz, him being the favorite, makes sense. I think more of a he's more reckonable. Yeah, can't even talk today. I would recognize his name more. Maybe that's why he's the favorite. I really don't know how they pick the favorites. I know normally, like in a main event, whoever's ranked lower or ranked lower, like closer to the number one spot, they're usually the favorite in the fight. That's normally how it works. Yeah. So actually, guys, you know what? Hold on here. I'm going to go to a different site because the UFC site is just insanely ridiculous, and it's really not working too well for me at the moment. Let me just go to Wikipedia here. Well, I'm not going to be able to find out a whole lot about the fights because it only says like the matchup and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so yeah, so it's that catchweight. So obviously both these guys fight 145. I think probably the reason why it's at catchweight already is maybe that was part of the contract and both guys couldn't make that weight in a certain amount of time, which doesn't really make sense because it's not really a huge important fight. It's on the early prelims card, so that's kind of weird. I don't know why. Again, guys, if you want to put some comments in the description or in the, you want to put some comments on the video, go ahead, give me your thoughts on the fight, on every single fight that I'm talking through. Anybody that's just joined, don't worry. I've only just started that early prelims, so you haven't missed much. And so we'll continue on. So we got the middleweight. This is the featured early prelim fight. You got Andrew Sanchez and Makamud Murderov. I swear to God, every card it gets worse with names. I'm probably gonna have to go with Andrew Sanchez here. So this guy, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's a favorite for a reason. He kind of he lost to Marvin Vittori, but he went 3 rounds. So it'll be interesting. But his last fight, he knocked out Wellington Turman and got the performance of the night. So he's definitely he does have the power, and he's had quite a few fights in his excuse me. Sorry, my screen froze. I got ADHD, so I only can focus on one thing at a time. So he's had quite a few fights. And I mean, that being said, he fights at middleweight or light heavyweight. He lost to Anthony Smith, so it's not like this is his first bout. He's fought big names, so he's been around. The problem is I don't really know a whole lot about the other guy. So if I wanted to stay safe on this pick, I'm probably gonna continue and I'm gonna go with Andrew Sanchez. So I've already gone with all the favorites in the prelim card. So our early prelim card, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna go with a prelim card on ESPN Plus. Excuse me. We're gonna start at the light heavyweight. We have Roundtree Jr. and Merson Picario, whatever the fuck his name is. Again, I swear to God, every fucking card gets worse with names, and it's like, what the fuck happened to normal names? I'm just joking. So I mean, if you look at Marcian, this guy's on a 3-fight losing streak, which is never good. I mean, he's fought some good names though. I mean, Sam Alvey, Magomed, and Ankalev, Mike Rodriguez. So it's not like he's, he just didn't come in and he's, getting his ass whipped by nobody. He's definitely fought some decent guys. And then you got, but Kale Roundtree Jr. I mean, he's made quite the name for himself. I think he's just had a bit of a rough go. Kind of the same thing where, he came in, and I mean, he came in the UFC with 4-0. Well, actually, on the Ultimate Fighter, that's when he made his debut, I believe. I think he lost in the light heavyweight tournament, but I mean, besides right from the get go, he actually fought Andrew Sanchez. He lost to Tyson Pedro, and then I mean, then he's had crazy little streaks where he knocked out Daniel Jolly, Paul Craig. He had a no contest with Miko, whatever his name is. I think that might have been he tested positive for something. But again, so he's knocked out Gokhan Saki. Fortunately, Johnny Walker got him, which is another high level guy. He won against Eric Sanders, lost against Ian Kudalaba. So, with these two guys, they both have lost against decent names. So I'm taking that into account too. But I think Roundtree Jr.'s got this one. He definitely has. I think I could see this a first round TKO, maybe a TKO. Yeah, probably first round, if not second round. I think maybe the first round will be one of those. He's going to get him with some shots, but then second round, he's got his number. So that'll be interesting. Excuse me. There isn't a whole lot of fights. I felt like I feel like on Wednesday, I had more fights to cover, or it was just maybe MMA Island and we just really took our time. I'm not sure, but definitely feels like there's not as many cards. But anyway, moving on, women's bantamweight, you got Juliana Pena versus Sarah McMahon. This is kind of one of those fights where I don't want to use the word I'm not excited. It's just one of those where both women are kind of like, I don't know. I'm just not very excited. I'm not insanely excited about the fight. But if you look at Sarah McMahon for a second, so she's been in the UFC for quite a long time, to be honest. Yeah, she's definitely she's been in the UFC for a while. I mean, she's been fighting since 2011. So that will be taken into account. But she's definitely she's had not a bad record. It just seems like she doesn't fight a whole lot. And maybe I might be thinking of Alexis Davis because I get these two girls mixed up. But I think they both have fought Ronda Rousey. Obviously, she lost against Ronda Rousey at UFC 170. But I mean, after her two losses with Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes, she was on a 3-fight winning streak. I mean, she won against Jessica Ai, Alexis Davis, Gina Mazzani, who also looked really good in her fight. But then she lost against Ketlin Vieira, who's awesome, and Marion Renew, who's been in there for a while too. And her last fight, she won against Leon Landsberg. So I'm not sure if it's maybe the way I'm feeling about it is just because she doesn't fight much. I don't know. Maybe that's what I feel. But if we take a look at Juliana Pena for a second, we all know how her jiu-jitsu is. I mean, it's pretty damn good. But then, I mean, you look at someone like Valentina who submitted her, so that's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird situation. But then again, I'm a Valentina fan. I'm not trying to sound biased, but that was just kind of weird that you get beat by someone that's not even a BJJ practitioner. But yeah, you look at this girl's record, and it was pretty consistent. Her first win or not her first win, but when she got in the UFC, she was with Jessica Rakatkozy, and she won that TKO. Melina Duvila TKO, Jessica Ai decision, Kat Zingano decision. Which Kat Zingano, she's a tough girl, or tough woman. Sorry. I mean, and then she lost against Valentina Shevchenko, obviously. I mentioned. Then she won against Nico Montano. And then she lost against Germaine de Randamine, which is kind of weird. She won by technical submission, yet when Germaine was on the ground with Amanda Nunes, she just looked like she was just hopeless. She didn't know what the fuck was going on. She was definitely in the shadow realm. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going off topic here, but her record 9-4, not really that good. I mean, not great. And it's one of those things where it's kind of a bad thing to say, but honestly, it really isn't. I'm saying it how it is. But I guess I'm not going to take away the fact that her BJJ is pretty good. That's what she's known for. But I just don't know if that's going to be good enough with her fight with McMahon. I mean, I think McMahon is a wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this will be a stand-up, and because it'll be a stand-up, I think Sarah McMahon might pull it off, but it'll be interesting how this fight goes. I think it'll definitely go to a decision. I think probably decision. I'm gonna go to Sarah McMahon, but Julian Pena, she definitely wants to get a fight back in there. So I think Sarah McMahon probably maybe a decision. Now let's move up to middleweight. You got Brad Tavares and Antonio Carlos Jr. Both guys kind of had the same kind of time in the UFC. Brad Tavares, I mean, this guy, he doesn't go down without a fight for sure. And obviously he fought Israel Adesanya, Edmund Shabazian. But I mean, before that, he was doing pretty good. And really, he's only lost against Romero, Tim Bosch, Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, and Edmund Shabazian. So he definitely, he's really racking them in. So if you just look before, I mean, he was on a crazy streak before that as well. I mean, he was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was on a 5-winning streak before he fought Yoel Romero. And I don't give a shit who you are. Yoel Romero is fucking good. And that was 2014. So that was 6 years ago. So Yoel Romero was probably, I mean, people still say he's still in his prime, but the man's 43 years old, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, he lost against Yoel Romero. Tim Bosch, Robert Whittaker is, like I said, so you can't really take that away from him. So he's definitely fought who's out there. But you got Antonio Carlos Jr. Let's see this guy. So sometimes I have to review because I don't remember all these, like everyone's fights. So this he's coming on a 2-fight losing streak. He's won against Tim Bosch, Jack Marshman, Eric Spicely, but he did beat Marvin Vettori. So he definitely has that in the bag. But again, that was 4 years ago, and Marvin Vettori is definitely not the same fighter that he was 4 years ago. I still think he's not going to beat Israel Adesanya as he says he's going to, but and again, that's not a biased thing. I love Israel Adesanya, but that's just facts. He's not going to beat him. But but this guy, he's been in the UFC for a while, and he got in the UFC with only 4-0, so that's kind of weird. You don't normally only see that with the female fighters, but yeah, he came in with not a whole lot of experience, unless he's got quite the amateur career, but I don't see that anywhere. But yeah, his last 2 fights, he lost Ian Heinisch and Uriah Hall, and both guys, I mean, are tough guys as well. So definitely, these guys aren't. I guess both guys are definitely fought who. But I think to be safe, if I was putting my money on it, I think I'm going to go with Brad Tavares on this one. Brad Tavares is definitely going to bring the fight in. Antonio Carlos Jr., I think he's definitely going to bring the fight in too, of course. But that being said, I think Brad Tavares is going to get this one. Either it's going to be a decision or second round TKO, I think. And then the featured prelim fight is at lightweight Nasrat Harazazat. Again, I only can get his first name. And then Arman Tukasarian. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Arman is Khabib's buddy. I think he's one of the guys that trained with Khabib, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe not. Maybe. I'm thinking of is Islam Makayev, or I think his name is. Maybe that's who I was thinking of, because he did fight him as well. So maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Or no, maybe not. Maybe I think he's one of the Dagestan boys. Yeah, this guy definitely. His only loss is against Islam, and Islam's pretty damn good, and he got a fight of the night too. So it wasn't like he got dominated. Like they both brought the fight. This will be interesting. Other than that fight, he's been on basically like a 13-14 fight win streak. If he hadn't lost that one fight, his last fight he won against Davey Ramos. So, he's coming in. He hasn't fought since July last year, but depending on how your career goes, It only takes so long. Who the hell's watching this anyway? There's only one person in here, so put your name down. I want to know who's watching this. Yeah, and then you got Nasrat, who I've been really impressed with this guy. Nasrat, I mean, he's trained at TriStar Gym, which is a very high level gym. But if you look at this guy, he's coming in and he's looking good. He's kind of one of those guys I find he's a little under the radar. But he's definitely up there. Yeah, Nasrat. He's definitely got power, and I think that's where the difference could be, is the power for sure. Nasrat definitely is going to come and stand up. I don't think he's going to make this a boring fight. He's had back-to-back performance. He's had 2 back-to-back performance awards. I mean, his one fight, he had a fight of the night with Thibaut Guti, and then performance of the night with Joaquim Silva. Not Joaquin Buckley, Joaquin Silva. But yeah, with both these fights, I mean, or with these 2 guys in this fight, at lightweight, I totally forgot I was at lightweight because Nasrat looks big for lightweight. I think Arman's actually going to win this fight. I think I could see this being maybe a first round or maybe a first or third round submission. But it'll be interesting. We'll see how that all turns out. Yeah, both guys. I mean, I think there's a reason why they put them on the feature prelims. I think they're going to bring an exciting fight, but we'll see how that all works out. Okay, so we're on the main card here. So we got women's strawweight, Marina Rodriguez and Amanda Ribas. I love this fight. I'm glad it was on the main card. Yeah, I'm absolutely excited with this fight. I'm getting the shivers. But no, seriously. With this fight, Marina Rodriguez has looked really, really good. Her stand-up is really good. Now, I think if we just take a look at Marina Rodriguez for a second, and I like actually kind of exploring both fighters as I'm doing these live streams. But fuck, I totally forgot that she lost against Carla Esparza in her last fight. I don't remember that. Yeah, so if you just look at her record, she won on the Dana White's Contender Series, the Brazil series. She looked incredible. And then she fought Randa Marcos, hometown girl. She lives like 40 minutes away from me. But she fought Randa Marcos, which that was a draw, which I thought she beat Randa Marcos, and I didn't agree with that. But no offense to Marina, but I thought that Ronda won that fight. But that did go to a majority draw. And then she won against Jessica Aguilar, Tisha Torres, and then she went with a draw with Cynthia Calvillo, and then she lost against Carla Esparza. So she's fought most girls in the top 10 or 15. So she's definitely fought. Yeah, it's not like she's just working her way up to the top 15 now. No, like she's been working her way up there. But then you got Amanda Ribas, who I'm kind of surprised that she was not the favorite in this fight. I mean, in terms of being on the left or right, I'm not sure how they did consider that. But like usually when you're the first name on the in a bout, you're usually the favorite. In terms of Vegas odds, I would pick Amanda Ribas to be the favorite in the Vegas odds. But yeah, I think that Amanda Ribas, I'm totally impressed with her. Her only loss is Polyana Vanya, who also is really damn good. But besides that, she's only has one loss. But besides that, this girl has looked incredible ever since. So after that loss with Polyana Vanya, and this wasn't even in UFC at the time. This was 5 years ago, 2015. It was actually in Jungle 83, so a totally different organization. But after that fight, I mean, she beat another girl at Max Fight 18. And after that, then she got into the UFC. And ever since then, I mean, I'll tell you, she's looked good. Emily Whitmere, submission. Mackenzie Dern, excuse me. Sorry, just everything froze again. Mackenzie Dern, Ronda Marcos, Paige Van Zandt. I mean, geez, like she's beaten everybody in the top 15, or everyone around the top 15 in strawweight, and then she made her flyweight debut against Paige Van Zandt. Now, say what you will about Paige Van Zandt, but she looked incredible. It was a first round submission armbar, and I watched that fight and I was very impressed. I mean, Amanda Ribas, as in terms of like, I really don't want to talk about. Me too. Can't wait. I can't wait. Red Vikings fan. Thanks, man. Yeah. In terms of talking about personality, I love Amanda Ribas. I love her. I love her as a fighter. Excuse me. I should change my words here, just in case my girlfriend's looking at this. She's like, "Who?" No, but seriously, no, I love her as a fighter. She's always happy, just a positive attitude. And I think that's really translating in her fights. But yeah, in terms of a fighter, Amanda Ribas, I think, is just getting better and better. Again, I don't know if it's because of where they are in the rankings, but definitely, I think Amanda Ribas has got this fight. You could definitely see maybe a first round submission again. But again, I mean, if you look at Marina Rodriguez, her stand-up is getting better and better. And it'll be interesting to see how Amanda Ribas is going to deal with that. Just because of, the stand-up. So we'll have to see how Amanda Ribas deals with that. So maybe not a first round submission, but maybe second round submission. Maybe the first round's going to be kind of a feel. I just hope that she doesn't shoot for the gate right at the beginning, because then it just gets harder and harder. I mean, especially if the person can deny all your takedowns. But we'll see how, because Marina is not going to want this to go to the ground. I guarantee you. She's, like, if it gets to a point where Amanda Ribas has to take her to the ground, she's going to be shooting for her life. But I think Amanda Ribas, she's just getting better and better. She's unbelievable. She'll be a possible title contender in the next 2 years, I think. So I think Amanda Ribas has got this one, second round submission. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Lightweight, you got Matt Frivola and Ottoman Azaitar. So I was actually watching a live stream. Well, it wasn't a live stream. It's just a live Instagram video. Actually, it's funny because he was Matt was talking with what's his name? I think he's fighting for a title. Actually, Jesus, the black dude. I don't want to. I'm not trying to be racist, but that's the only way I can remember. He's fighting Sterling. Excuse me. I think he was talking with Sterling. But anyway, he looked kind of all banged up, so I'm not sure what's going on. I hope that he's going to fight 100%. But he looked like he had a bit of a shiner under his right or left eye. But if you look at this guy, he looked pretty good in Dana White's Contender Series. But then he got knocked out in his next fight with Paulo Reyes, and then draw with Lando Venata. And then, but he won his last two against Jalen Turner and Luis Pena, who Luis Pena is definitely looking good, but I don't know if he's looking that good because he's pretty freaking big for being at featherweight. So that will be kind of interesting. And I think maybe that was a fight where Luis Pena was actually fighting at lightweight. Maybe he went up. I can't remember, because I know that Frivola is a lightweight, so I'm a little confused why he was fighting buddy Luis Pena. But that being said, if you look at Ottoman Azaitar, I mean, he's lived up to the hype. He's definitely looking freaking good. And if you look at him, he knocked out Kama Worthy, who honestly I was like, really? And this guy, I'm telling you, he's 13-0. I mean, I know everybody eventually will lose a fight because that's just destiny. That's happens. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC, and he's already got 2 performance of the night, both fights. So that's pretty damn good. Both first round TKOs or KO and then TKO with Kama Worthy. Like once he knocked out Kama Worthy, I was like, shit, this guy's because Kama Worthy. I think we all know how fucking good Kama Worthy is and how much knockouters he is. I mean, a knockout, your time comes, but Ottoman Zaitar, I don't know what else I can say about this guy. He's fucking good. But I think Ottoman Zaitar, he's going to be definitely be the favorite in this fight, obviously. So I think Ottoman Zaitar is definitely he's definitely gonna win this fight. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to see the fight. I'm excited to see a knockout. I don't even give a shit who gets knocked out, as long as I'm not going for him. But no. So anyway, going back to the next fight. Okay, so women's flyweight, you got Jessica Eye and Joanne Calderwood. I like this fight too. It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm kind of worried about Jessica Eye. So I actually had her on my podcast, and we were talking maybe a couple months ago, and we were talking about the health issues that she's had, and she's quite vocal about it. She talked about a lot of these, like having a surgery and having all these things done. It was affecting her weight cuts. And I know a lot of people have thoughts like, well, cutting weight is your job, and to an extent, weight cutting is part of the job, and you kind of have to be professional. You have to be an athlete. But I think people don't really understand, like, you think that you could be ready for a fight, and then, like a week before shit can happen. I can't remember her whole story, what it was, but just playing devil's advocate here, like people need to realize, like, people don't, like, some fans don't understand how people cutting weight and how it affects your body. Like, some people have certain health issues where they don't know that it's affecting their weight cuts. Sometimes it takes one or twice where you miss your weight and you're thinking, why the hell is my body not responding the way I want it to? A lot of times it can be part of just dieting and just part of like discipline, things like that. But it can be discipline, and then also sometimes it can just be, again, like health issues. So to kind of defend her there, I definitely think that the health issues have had an effect. Last time I talked with her, I think she was having a lot of that stuff under control. But when I actually talked with her, I think her fight just got booked with Joanne Calderwood, and she talked about it, and I think she's excited. She definitely wants to come in and bring the heat for sure. She was quite vocal during the interview this week about talking about, and she was very upset with some of the people interviewing her, saying like people aren't even looking out for my health, and she wasn't very happy. And I get that. I'm not gonna get into it because I'm just here covering a stream, and I'm a podcaster, and I interview fighters, and better that I keep my mouth shut. So, I really don't want to give out too much of an opinion, but I get it with both sides. I get what the fans, and I get what she's trying to say. But yeah, so I mean, she's gone through a lot. She's missed weight in her last 2 bouts. But she just won. She had a win over Vivian Arju, who actually just fought yesterday, like in my time, Eastern Savings Time. Yesterday around 12. But yeah, she had a win over her, so that's got to say something, because Vivian looked good, but I don't know if she looked that good just because her opponent, her stand-up maybe wasn't up to the same level. I don't know what I can really say about that. I don't really have much of a say in that. But anyway, but if you look at Jessica's record before she had that head kick knockout with Valentina, I mean, she was on a 3-fight winning streak. Before that, though, she was on a 4-fight losing streak. And, but she's lost against like big names. It's not like she just getting beat by nobody, like Misha Tate, Julian Pena, Sarah McMahon, who both are fighting on the same card, which is kind of interesting. Betch Correia. But then she racked up 3 wins after that before getting knocked out by Valentina, which, shit happens. But I'm glad to see that she's still okay from that, because that was a vicious fucking knockout. But yeah, so in her last 3 fights, she's lost 2, which, sucks. But, I think that she's going to come in serious, and I hope she does make the weight. I hope that she's healthy. I never wish anybody bad things. I hope that she's going to stay healthy. She is a former guest of mine. I hope nothing but the best for her. But let's look at Joanne Calderwood for a second. Now, I love Joanne Calderwood. I've always liked Joanne Calderwood. I just, when it comes to going for titles, I just don't know. That's my answers. I just don't know with her. If you look at this girl's record, however, this girl's had more of a career in the UFC than Jessica Ai has, I believe. Just looking at here, maybe they're around the same, but I'm kind of glad to see Joanne Calderwood at flyweight, though. Because I think maybe like her, because I know she missed weight going to, or no, did she? I'm not sure if she fought at flyweight. Yeah, sorry, excuse me. I think she fought at strawweight, and then she went down, and then she went up to flyweight, and then she went back down to strawweight, and then now she's back up to flyweight, and she's stayed there ever since, which I'm kind of glad to see that, because sometimes you just have to stay a certain weight class that you're comfortable at, right? And it's just one of those things where you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so froze again. Hey guys, just give me your thoughts on the card, the fights as I'm going through these, and we're gonna do this together. So if you have any questions for me, or any other questions, I know I'm kind of just do my picks and probably get to answer most questions. But if you have anything that you want to throw in there, go ahead, guys. I'm just chatting here. You guys are sitting back, you're watching the show, so you guys are more than welcome to put in anything you want. Yeah, so looking at Joanne's record here. It's been a little inconsistent. She got that split decision over Andrea Lee, which is kind of weird because I don't know how she got a title shot after that, because she lost her fight before that with Caitlin Shugagan, but then she had 2 fights before that with Ariane Lipsky and Kelendina Ferreira. So I'm not too sure how she was going to get that title shot. Maybe it's just because of who she beat, and maybe that's just how, because I think Caitlin Shugagan went for the title before her. Maybe that's how it all worked out. It kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know if she talked about this in an interview this week about fighting Jessica Maia, if she regretted, like, she should have just waited for a title shot. I can't remember what her thoughts were on that. But yeah, I think that she would have fought for a title, and whether or not she would have beaten Valentina would have been it would have been interesting for sure. Jeez, froze again, guys. I apologize. I really do. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay, sorry guys. Just kept freezing for some freaking reason. Yeah, so if you look at if you look at Jennifer Maia, I mean, she got beat by Jennifer Maia, submission armbar, and then Jennifer Maia lost. So, I mean, Joanne Calderwood, I think she might win this fight if Jessica Ai has a bad weight cut again. I think Joanne Calderwood's going to win. I'm not taking away both girls' skills, but I think in this fight with Joanne Calderwood, I think Joanne Calderwood's going to win this fight, even if Jessica has a bad weight cut. So it'll definitely be interesting for sure. Okay, so if we look at hold on. Okay. Okay, if we look at lightweight, you got Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler. I love this fight as well. I think it's a good welcoming in fight for Michael Chandler. But this is also really interesting because Dan Hooker is coming off a loss from Dustin Poirier, and they're both fighting on the same card. So this is kind of weird. We've had a couple of fights where different opponents are on the same card and they both have lost or won against each other. So this is kind of interesting. But Dan Hooker, he's legit. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it'll be interesting to see. Like, if you haven't watched Michael Chandler fight, you probably should. I'm just gonna look at his record right now and look at where he's standing. He's definitely been one of the top Bellator guys. Like, he's not. They wouldn't throw him in to a number six ranked guy if he wasn't in it. So I mean, this guy, he's not on a 10 fight winning streak. He's not crazy like, oh my god, this guy's gonna whip ass. But he's up there and he's doing really well. He's 21-5, so he's almost like he has the same kind of McGregor record going on, or like a Poirier record going on. So he's pretty matched up with these guys. He lost against Patricio Freire. I'm not sure if that's Patricio Pitbull. I don't follow Bellator very well. But I mean, he's beaten other really good guys like Benson Henderson. He actually beat Benson Henderson twice. But it's weird. He lost against Will Brooks twice, and he lost against Eddie Alvarez. So it's kind of weird that he got beat by these guys, and then they go in the UFC, and they got cut, or they didn't work out as well for them as it could have. And then you got Eddie Alvarez, who's still, I don't know how well he's doing in one championship. But yeah, this guy and then he had that 4 winning streak, and then he lost against Brent Primus. But then he's pretty much done pretty well, and then he beat Sidney Outlaw and then Benson Henderson. So I mean, he's beaten tough guys. And I think that he's gonna do well in this fight. I don't know if he's gonna win. But if I had to throw my money on it, I think I'm going with Michael Chandler, to be honest. I think with the grindiness, I think he's going to catch Dan Hooker. Now, Dan Hooker, I mean, we know Michael Chandler is a wrestler. He has had the wrestling credentials, and Dan Hooker does have that knee that he does. He's tall, and he likes to use that knee. And he talked about it, too. He said, I got that knee there, and it's this really, really interesting fight. It's a good fight for Michael because it's not like you're throwing the number 1 ranked contender and you're not putting all that pressure on him to beat the number 1 guy. But if he does beat Dan Hooker, he might have to fight one more guy to get the title shot. But it's definitely a good welcoming fight for him. It's not too overwhelming. It's number 6 ranked guy. It's someone that he probably would have kind of the same kind of ranking of a guy that he would have fought in Bellator. So I think Michael Chandler, I think he might catch Dan Hooker. Could be first round. I have a feeling that it could be first round TKO. It'll be very interesting. And this could be crazy where he could have such a good performance, better than Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier's performance, and then he gets a fight with Khabib. That would be fucking insane. That would be insanity. But I mean, we're just gonna hold off and see how he does. It's just hard because you see Bellator fighters that transition to UFC, and sometimes they don't do the best. I mean, Will Brooks is a good example. He's kind of had a tough go, or UFC going to Bellator, and sometimes they do better there. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how that cross pollination thing kind of goes on with UFC and Bellator. But again, I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm definitely going to go with Michael Chandler. Okay, so main event: Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. Wow, this is a great fucking fight. I always wanted to see these guys fight again. I wanted to see what it would be like with Dustin Poirier now fighting Conor McGregor versus them fighting 5 years ago. And I'm actually going to post a video with all my guests that made the predictions with this matchup on Saturday. And a lot of them were saying the same thing. It was more, yes, Dustin Poirier is a different guy that Conor fought 5 years ago, but is it enough to beat Conor? And I think the problem is that Conor's stand-up, I think the thing is Dustin, besides his boxing, is his boxing going to be enough for McGregor? And I guess that's kind of a interesting thought. But also Dustin's not cutting all that weight, and he's been able to take some good shots. But the problem with Dustin, I find, is that he's taken a lot of shots in his fights when he gets into these wars. Like Dan Hooker, he could have easily been finished in that fight with Dan Hooker, and he could have easily finished Dan Hooker too. So, like props to Dustin Poirier. He's a warrior. I love the attitude he's got. He's a totally mentally different guy. I saw the press conference with him and McGregor, and again, let's talk about McGregor too. Like McGregor, totally different attitude. He looks dialed in. He looks fucking serious. Like he's ready to go. Like if they said, McGregor, you just got to fight Poirier outside, he'd be like, well, let's fucking go. Like he would be good to go. Like he's dialed in. He's ready to go. I don't think both guys are going to have a problem with weight cuts or anything. Like I think both guys look sharp. They both look sharp. That's the one good thing. And I think Conor McGregor, the problem is I think everyone has their opinion about Conor McGregor, the shit that he's done outside the cage, but Conor's like stand-up is just unfucking believable. I know like they talk about his cardio, and he says, I want to be tested in the next 3 or 4, 5th rounds, like in those rounds. But does he really want to be there? Because Dustin can still be dangerous in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I mean, you saw that in the fight with Max Holloway, and he even beat Max Holloway. Max Holloway maybe only won 1 or 2 rounds. Dustin won like 3 rounds, 3 out of 5 rounds in that fight. So it'll be interesting to see how this happens. If Conor can't get him in the 1st, 2nd round, shit. Like I think Conor's going to definitely get him some good shots, but Conor's not going to do what he did with Diaz in the first fight, throw everything but the kitchen sink. I don't want to have those predictions where like this happens and this happens, but if this happens, this happens. So I'm just going to lay it out how it is. I think Conor McGregor, how I see how the fight's going, probably second round TKO, possibly. It'll be very interesting. I'm very interested to see how Dustin's going to take his shots. But I think second round TKO for Conor McGregor. So, guys, if you guys enjoy this, please leave a like, subscribe. Subscriptions really do help with the channel, obviously. And I will be posting a video. It's like all the guests I've had in the last couple of weeks. They're just giving their thoughts on the Poirier and McGregor too. And they're going to give me their predictions. And it's just a summary of what they said. But if you guys enjoy, give that a thumbs up. Please like, share. I appreciate all the support, and you guys stay safe, stay healthy. I know times aren't hard, so if you ever got to call somebody, it's never a bad thing to call someone. I know these times are hard, but if not, enjoy yourselves, enjoy the card on Saturday, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy it again, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Okay, take care, guys.